evening. I'm snuggled up with my boyfriend. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to snuggle up in bed when it's a shit day out there and enjoy what you're doing. And what I'm doing is being in bed. Well, not quite in bed. Sort of got my blankie and my unicorn. My hair getting messy and I don't really care. Somebody's in, thank God for that. Who else is in? 2 people. Yay. Hi, Lou. Yes, I have Justin, my boyfriend, with me tonight. So cuddly. So fabulous. So here we are. Locked down for another week. Trying to be really positive about it. Really, really trying to be positive. And it was Lane's birthday today, so that was a good positive day. That was a fabulous day. And we had a gorgeous dinner last night. We had the best burgers ever. Homemade burgers with avocado and lettuce and this lovely barbecue sauce that Steve got, which was brown sugar and something. Thank you, Lou. I put lavender through it to freshen it up. It's still blue, but the lavender's done something to it. I had to do something. It was just getting a little bit dull and miserable, and I couldn't be bothered looking at myself for much longer. Hi, Rewa. So, yeah. So, that was lovely, having a birthday. And I went to the supermarket, and because I got paid, I went crazy. I don't know how many of you go crazy at the supermarket sometimes. I don't often. But Pocono supermarket had everything a girl could want. Yes, brown sugar and bourbon. That's it, Lou. So the supermarket, it had my favourite coffee. It had Starbucks Cafe au lait for my Dolce Gusto machine. I bought 3 boxes of coffee. I mean, unheard of. But my coffee tray is now absolutely fucking full of coffee. And I bought Hershey's banana loaf, oh yum, and loaded potato salad, and Maltesers, of which I ate half the bag today, so I've now got an absolute shitty sugar rush coming. I know it, but you know, you've just got to do it. Yeah, I put lavender through it. Ange, how do these colours kind of work out? I mean, it was blue and shitty sort of grey. Anyway, it's all good. So tonight, Phyllis is going to get a bit of a rude shock. So we'll give it a few more minutes. And I've got my cards. I've got fabulous cards. We're going to do Tuesday Tarot tonight because we can. Because I think we need it for the rest of the week. I really do. And next Tuesday, we'll all be in level 3. And before we know it, we'll be in level 2. And we'll have to have a party. A big party. I don't know. Something that's just sort of totally outrageous. You know, a level 1 party for all of us. Anyway, the trouble is by the time you organise a level 1 party, it's level 4 again. Interesting about the couple that got all the way to Wanaka. Can't believe they actually even got on a plane and got that far. Wow. And I did read in the news that they're very remorseful, and he realises that he made a big mistake and a really bad decision. So, I don't know, part of me feels idiots, and the other part of me feels, well, at least you've learned a lesson. And I hope people aren't too hard on them, because I think they're going to get a really, really big court fine or something like that. They will be made an example of. But we all make mistakes, don't we? We all do stupid things, although that's actually putting a plane load of passengers, you know, and all of those people where they drove down to Wanaka. I suppose that is terrible. Oh, pot. Oh, yes, I think that's brilliant. Obviously, people needed their pot. I need my coffee. Can I break through and go and get coffee? No, I got my machine and I got my Hershey's banana bread. That's all good. And tomorrow I'm going to have bacon and loaded potato salad on toast, which I know sounds disgusting, but actually it's delicious. So how many? Well, we've only got 4 of us in here. So I'll just go for it anyway, because I had some complaints. Apparently, when I load it up to YouTube, people don't like our little fireside chat before I get into the story, which I really don't think I care, do I? No. So anyway, let's do Phyllis. Phyllis. So we're up to Justice. So Phyllis has left the water wheel, as we know, the beautiful cafe, and she's learned all about patterns and, you know, that sort of thing. And so since we left her last week, she's been living it up large and enjoying her life and establishing new patterns and doing all sorts of different things in her life, which is amazing. And she's driving along the road, and actually she's going out west. She's going out west, and she's got through Newlyn, and she's thinking, right, I'm going to go out to Huia because Alfred's is out there. That's a beautiful little cafe. They have the most amazing eggs benny, and I'm going to go out there and sit at the water and just look out over the water. And remembering she's been working and doing everything she does, you know, I mean, she's been leading quite an ordinary life since she visited the cafe. It's still learning and interacting with people and just living that sort of life. Hi, Chanel. And anyway, she's driving out west and she gets pulled over. Cop pulls her over and she's thinking, look. And he sort of gets out. She's got the roof off. And he says, oh, nice convertible. She goes, yeah, thank you. I really love it. And he said, well, you kind of been speeding through Titirangi there. You know, you were going a bit fast. And so I'm afraid I want your license. So she hands over a license and he goes back to his car. And he comes back and looks at her and says, well, I'm afraid we've kind of caught up with you. And she said, what do you mean? He said, you've got a lot of tickets. And she sort of went, oh yeah, I have a couple. And he said, a couple? There's 10 tickets here. Justice catches up with you, love. You can't just ignore your speeding tickets and your parking tickets. And she thinks back and goes, far out. Yeah, you know, I did park in the wrong places and I did hit 130k on the motorway and she got pulled over. And she thinks, yeah, justice has caught up with me. I have to live with the consequences. And he said, yeah, you certainly do. And I'm going to give you a big ticket for this one because Titirangi is a small village and, you know, there's a definite speed limit and there's speed bumps there. So she takes her ticket and he says, now look, if you get caught again, you're going to be arrested. You know, we're just going to take you in. Make sure you take care of those fines. So she thinks, yeah, I better do that. And she carries on to Huia and gets to Alfred's store and orders her breakfast and sits outside and thinks, oh, if I get caught up with that, what else what else catches up with me? And she finishes her breakfast and she gets in the car and she drives home. And she opens her iPad and there's a message from a friend. And the message says, you bitch! How dare you? You know, you're not a friend of mine anymore. I didn't realize, you know, that you could be so untrustworthy. And Phyllis is thinking, what the fuck? And she's going, what do you mean? And the message comes back and says, the girl comes back and says, well, you know, I told you something in confidence. And you repeated it to a mutual friend of ours, and now everyone knows, And actually, it's totally ruined my relationship. Well, I have no relationship anymore. And Phyllis suddenly remembers, yeah, her friend told her about sleeping with someone else and that she had regretted it and she would never do it again, and that she really loved the man she was with. And Phyllis thought about it and thought, yeah, I did. I told a mutual friend. Well, apparently the mutual friend went and told her friend's boyfriend, and he's called it all off. And Phyllis suddenly realizes that she's now lost a very good friend. In fact, she may have lost 2 or 3 good friends in that group of people. And so she has to live with those consequences, and she thinks, wow, it's all very well swanning around the countryside and learning all these things and doing all these amazing things, but I've kind of got a bit carried away. And she goes to work the next day, and the boss comes up to her and says, here's your notice. You're on a verbal warning, and then if you transgress that, you're out. And she sort of says, oh, but you have to give me a verbal warning, then you have to give me written warnings. And he said, Phyllis, after what you've done, you're very lucky that I haven't just given you 3 months pay and made you pack your bags and go. And she said, what have I done? So Phyllis has got quite upset. She's lost a friend. She's got to pay all her parking tickets. Life seems to be catching up with her. And he said, what about the privacy statement that you signed? And she said, yes, I signed a privacy, a secrecy thing for you. He said, yes, that you wouldn't talk to our competitors. In fact, that you wouldn't talk to anyone. And Phyllis is in a very big advertising marketing company. She's got a really good job. She's up the top there because, it enables her to go and do all these fabulous things. And she goes, but he said, what about being in the pub a few months ago and talking to one of our competitors who's been pitching for a client of ours? And she said, but that was months ago. He said, yeah, but now it's all come to the fore, and all of those ideas that we had, someone else has now taken them, and the campaign that we had sorted out for our client and that we had got all ready for our client is actually being broadcast on TV in a series of adverts exactly the same as ours. And there's only one place they could have found that out, and that was with you, Phyllis. And she thought, oh, yeah, she'd had a few drinks. And she had told the competitor what the campaign was going to be like. And of course, the company's lost the client because the client's gone, hey, hang on, my competitor's got exactly the same campaign as you've done for me. If you think I'm paying for this campaign that we can't even launch now, that's it. So Phyllis sort of has to suffer the consequences. And she's now busted down and not allowed to be in charge of accounts, and she's not trusted. So she sits with herself while she's doing internet banking and paying off all her fines and thinking, these are the consequences. If I do shit things happen. It catches up with you. The discretion, not having the discretion and talking to a competitor months ago has come down the line, and now it matters. A couple of weeks ago, she said something to mutual friends she told, that was said in confidence, and now it's visited back upon her. All the fines and speeding tickets that she's been ignoring, they're all now right in front of her. And she's thinking very seriously about consequences and how they catch up, and how that in the future she's going to have to be very careful about her actions, that she can't just go charging around the cosmos, doing what she wants when she wants, and ignoring people's confidence in her and not having that confidentiality, that respect for people. And so our poor Phyllis is facing justice. She has lost some friends. She's lost her position in her work, or they haven't fired her. She's been busted down. She now has a whole lot of fines that have a whole lot of penalties. And our Phyllis is facing justice. Not very good for Phyllis. So tomorrow we will see where Phyllis goes from there. So it's a bit of a down day for Phyllis today. It's all about justice and understanding that whatever you do, it comes back on you. Especially if it's something negative. If you do something wrong, justice will be served in this lifetime. Always is. So now I'm shuffling. So we're going to do our weekly Tuesday tarot. Okay. I just love my boyfriend. A, B, or C, people. Come on. All 5 of you. Well, there may be more watching. A, B, or C. Come on. Come on, people. Are we ready? Okay, Lou. A. Let's see what we've got. I'm using Everyday Witch Oracle, which I love. Okay, A. Oh. Dig deep, Lou. Time to dig deep. In a good way. In a good way, though. Dig deep. And it's a meditation to dig deep, because digging deep means you're not afraid to get to the bottom of something. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. You know, it doesn't have to be a negative thing, digging deep into your emotions and all of that stuff. It could be digging deep into your magic, you know, especially at this time. I think we really do have to dig deep into our magic this week. We've got till next week, you know, we've got a few days. And then obviously we're going to go to level 3, because if she hasn't got it sorted by then, well, there you go. So let's dig deep into our magic and really use our magic. Use our magic to send ourselves forward, to build ourselves up, to be ready to smash it out. Because remember, spring equinox is coming and full moon is on spring equinox. Major gateway. Stick all your super moons. This one is a biggie. Spring equinox and full moon. And in fact, I'm going to put up a very special reading for it. Okay, so B. Learn from life. So if you've got B, there's a few things to learn this week. Although you probably know them all already, but the goddess is just sort of revisiting them upon you and saying, hey, remember this, remember that. And learning from life is about inner wisdom too. Sometimes you need to understand that you don't need book learning, you don't need education. God, I'm not educated at all. You don't need all of these things to be a wise person. You know, we learn from life. Most of us have. So learn from life. C. Oh. Joy and delight. So turn cartwheels, be joyful, be delightful, find delight and joy in everything. Even if it is a Hershey's banana loaf, like that was my joy today. And our bonus card is prayers and wishes. So I think it's a week where we wish and pray, same things, for what we want. Let's just be a little selfish. Especially here in Auckland, I think we're allowed to be selfish. And just pray and wish for things that you would like. Sure, we'd all love world peace. Sure, we'd all love COVID to go away. Sure, I would like Hershey's banana loaf to not have calories in it. But if I ignore the calories, they don't count apparently. So that's really good. Well, that's my excuse anyway. So let's go back to it. The first, if you chose A, it was dig deep. Dig deep into your magic. Dig deep into your skills. Dig really deep into who you are and all the beautiful things around you and about you, the beautiful things about you, because you are absolutely stunning and you need to dig deep into that. Learn from life. So if you chose B, learn from life and just fly through the window and fly high. And I think that's the important thing there, is fly high. We don't have to fly low. Just because we're on a COVID restriction doesn't mean we can't achieve shit, because we can achieve a lot of stuff. God, if I can crochet a dragon for my daughter's birthday that the pattern was so fucking complicated I threw it against the wall a couple of times, anyone can do anything. Okay? If you chose, and learning from life is learning. Let's not learn our weaknesses over the next week. Let's write down our strengths. You know, instead of gratitude lists and all of this sort of stuff in the mornings, why don't we write down what our strength is? What's our strength for the day? You know, what are we going to really focus on? So my strength tomorrow will be, what's my strength tomorrow? What am I strong in? Words. So I'm going to use words tomorrow. Okay, and if you chose C, joy and delight. Be absolutely delightful in the moment. Be joyful. Doesn't matter how small it is, be joyful about it. And our bonus card for all of us is pray and wishes. So it means pray for what you want, wish for what you want. And wishes are also, you know, wishes are about dreams as well, you know, and this is a really good time. Like, we've got a few more days where we can't work. Well, I'm working and other people work. We all work a little bit. But, you know, we actually have the time and space from other people, away from people, where we can dream quite unashamedly. You know, we can take the time to dream, and a wish is a dream. So dream your wish your dream. I think that's a really important thing to do, so that when we start coming down in our levels, we are in a space where we can totally rock it out. Okay, so my lovely boyfriend and I, there he is, will say good night. He's a perfect boyfriend. See, he hasn't interrupted once. And I will see you tomorrow night when Phyllis goes to the next lesson. Well, I think we're halfway through the lesson, so we're doing well. Poor Phyllis. Not so well today, but there you go. It's all about consequences. If you stuff up, you have to pay the consequences. So I hope you enjoyed it. Send me a heart if you did. If you didn't, don't bother. Just smile sweetly. I think I'm getting tired. I'm starting to warble. So I'm going to say goodnight and see if I can... Can I have another slice of banana cake? Yeah, God, my sugar's gone through the roof. Anyway, let's go for it. Right. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow night. Behave yourselves.